All praise due to Allah and His praise and blessings and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I bear witness that Allah is the only one worthy of worship and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, His last and final messenger. First of all, I would like to say that alhamdulillah, Allah bless us with a lot of tools that was not available or even dreamt of in the old days. Driving an hour or an hour and a half or 2 or 3 or 4 hours just to meet these beautiful faces and be in this beautiful gathering. It's worth it, especially when you have, alhamdulillah, a comfortable ride, a comfortable road, safe. May Allah SWT protect all of us. And as a Houstonian, as a person living in Houston, I always feel so wrong for not investing much in my own community and get the chance to meet the community, especially in this side of the town. So I really appreciate the opportunity and the honor that you've given me to address you tonight. And I encourage you to continue to do so, not only inviting me, but I mean by that, continue gathering on Friday and gathering and together and learning the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What have Yusuf taught me? Anytime Yusuf alayhi salam is mentioned, دائما يلقى في الذهن الجمال, العفة, الأمانة, الطهارة. Anytime we mention Prophet Yusuf, what immediately comes to our mind is beauty, purity, being chaste, a person who abstained from indecency. No doubt that all these are very true. It is as the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam described him, Al-Kareem ibn al-Kareem ibn al-Kareem. Al-Kareem. إيش معنى Al-Kareem? What Al-Kareem means? يلا يا من يتحدثون العربية. Generous.
الذي يعطي من غير أن يسأل ولا يمن في عطائه. الذي يعطي من غير أن يسأل ولا يمن في عطائه.
Very good. So generous, the one who gives without being asked to give, and he never basically make you feel that you have done favor to you. But what Kareem means, all this that's not what Kareem means. ليس هذا هو معنى كلمة كريم كل ما ذكرته. الله سبحانه وتعالى وصف عرشه أنه ذو العرش الكريم. يعني العرش كريم. هل العرش generous? The Prophet ﷺ and Al-Arsh, Allah's throne, as the Prophet ﷺ in the famous hadith al-Ruqya, he said that Allah's throne is Kareem. ذُقْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْكَرِيمُ. He told the head and the leader of the kuffar of Quraysh, when he is Abu Jahl and Umayyah ibn Khalaf, when he's in hellfire, Allah will, the angel tell him, they'll taste the hellfire, suffer the hellfire. You are Al-Aziz, you are Al-Kareem. Do you think they said, go to the hellfire because you are generous, because you give and you don't ask and you don't show favor? No way. So that means Al-Kareem has something else, has another meaning. Al-Kareem, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of his names, Al-Kareem, والكريم غير الجواد. الكرم في لغة العرب معناه الذي يتميز عن غيره بما لا يتصف به غيره. الكرم, it means to be something so unique. It became someone who nobody can match you. And why do we call generosity كرم? ليش سمي العطاء كرما؟ لأن العطاء صفة لا توازيها صفة. Because generosity is one of the unique character traits that you can ever have. It's a very special thing. That's why nothing can match generosity from all other quality. That's why we call giving Kareem or Karam, the one who gives a lot. But originally كلمة كريم يعني الذي لا تضاهي صفاته. ولذلك عرش الله كريم لا يوجد عرش له من صفات عرش الرحمن شيئا. وهذا الرجل الذي كان سيدا في قومه كان يقول لا يوجد أحد مثلي في قريش. ولذلك كان يقال له كريم لأنه يتميز عن غيره. So the word Kareem It means it's a very, very unique, very special. No one can match. So Nabiullah Yusuf alayhi salam, when he was called Kareem, it's because he possessed quality that made him very unique. Besides, he was very generous. Salawatu Rabbi wa salamu alayhi. That he was very generous. Hatta qeel inno fi Yusuf alayhi salam, he shared his food in jail with the rest of the people. And basically the rest of the prisoners, out of his generosity. Anyway, Yusuf alayhi salam أعطي شطر الحسن, was giving half of beauty. وفي رواية صححها كثير من أهل العلم قال إن يوسف وأمه أعطي شطر الحسن, that Yusuf and his mother both together possess half of the beauty of the world. They both were very beautiful, very beautiful, and he's very, very handsome man. And that's why أكرمهم عند الله إيش؟ أتقاهم. ليش تقول أكرمهم عند الله أتقاهم؟ لأن التقوى صفة لا تشابهها صفة، ومن تمثل بها لا يمكن أحد يوازيه ولا يماثله. So we said the best, the most Akram from Kareem is the one who possesses taqwa, because taqwa is the best of all quality, make you a very unique person. Anyway, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that there is a group of Jews in Medina heard the Prophet ﷺ reciting Surah Yusuf, and they become Muslim just by listening to Surah Yusuf. وكان يقول خالد بن معدان سورة مريم وسورة يوسف مما يتفكه به أهل الجنة, يعني يستمتع به أهل الجنة. The Surah Yusuf and Surah Maryam among the joys of paradise. Yani people recite these surahs in paradise not as an act of worship, because there's no taklif in Jannah, but as a form of enjoyment, as a joy. Basically brings so much joy to them. وكان يقول بعضهم سورة يوسف ما سمعها محزون إلا استراح إليها. There is no person ever will be in calamity and hardship and struggle will hear Surah Yusuf unless that person will feel relief and will connect to that story. No doubt that Surah Yusuf is very unique, because there is no other prophet, his whole entire story was mentioned in one place except Yusuf alayhi salam. And if you look at all the prophets, their stories is divided all over the Quran. But Yusuf alayhi salam, in this particular surah, the whole entire surah, from the beginning and the end. Also, there's so much details, usually the Quran don't care to share, because the Quran is not a history book. Quran is a kitab tarikh, so it doesn't care for the details. But there is so much details about Yusuf alayhi salam mentioned in this surah, which is making it very unique surah. So I want to basically broaden our mind and the scope that we look at this surah and the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. I personally have learned from many scholars, from books of tafsir, but also my own reflections I put it into this talk. So things that I would like to share with you, and it will be fast, short points, not to dwell on details, but something you might relate to some of these points and think about it and reflect more. And maybe that will lead you to think in this way, follow that kind of basically thought process when you look at the stories of the prophets in general. First, I learned that all prophets come with the same message. Yusuf alayhi salam, his message was the same message of Nuh, Ibrahim, and his forefathers, and the prophet, the messenger who came after him. And that shows you that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a true prophet from his Lord. Because the same message of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the message of Yusuf. That's why the Jews became Muslim, because they found out that the exact thing that they see and they know of Yusuf alayhi salam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was talking about. I also learned that Islam wants also sometimes to have Not every time it's a heavy knowledge and it's like, rules and do and don'ts. That's why it's been narrated, and the sabab nuzul hadith surah, أن الصحابة رضي الله عنهم, they said to the Prophet هلا قصصت علينا. You always remind us, you always give the surahs that give ahkam and rulings. What about if you tell us a story? Then Allah SWT revealed Surah Yusuf. There is nothing wrong when you sometimes need a break. There is nothing wrong when you sometimes want to relax, want to, to just take it easy. I don't want to, not every time it has to be like a serious knowledge and a serious, learning thing. No. Also, I learned from Surah Yusuf alayhi salam, many times we try to blame others for our own mistakes. It's a very tricky way. You blame others for your own faults. Why? So you don't feel guilty. Where do you get that from? إذ قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا منا ونحن عصبة إن أبانا لفي ضلال مبين. صار أبوهم هو المشكلة، مو بأنفسهم الخبيثة التي ملأها الحقد والحسد. No, they blame the father for the problem. They blame the father for him being so attached to Yusuf alayhi salam. So what are we doing to Yusuf? It's the result of my father, what my father doing. They did not admit that it is their own envy, their own evil souls and evil thoughts, at least at that time in their life, because we know they repented later on and they changed and they became an asbab, they became even prophets, and something we will comment on later. But see, so many times we try to do that. Today I was talking about family relations. Many times husbands blame wife for the problem. Wife blame the husbands, and the husband blame the kids, and the kids blame the parents. And nobody want to take responsibility over the mistakes. And we do that to fool ourselves because we don't want to feel guilty. But you know what? You can fool yourself as much as you want. But the truth always remains the truth. تعلمت من سورة يوسف ومن قصته أن البكاء ليس بالضرورة دليل على الصدق، وأن الذي يبكي ويتأثر أمامك ليس بالضرورة أن يكون صادق، والذي يظهر المشاعر الجياش ليس بالضرورة أن يكون هو المحق. I learned that I will not let tears fool me. I will not let people who so emotionally charged misguide me. Sometimes transgressors and oppressors will cry, as we call the crocodile tears, right? Sometimes they come, and sometimes we get that, especially when we're in a position to deal with two people. Many times I will come, and the husband or the wife, since we're talking today about marriage and manipulation, she will cry or he will cry. They did any emotionally khas. You believe the person. That's not true. You have to be very careful. Don't just follow emotions, and emotions can be very deceiving sometimes. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. They came to their father late in the night, as if they had spent the whole day looking for Yusuf, so they wait late. And they come to him, what? Yabkun, the verb, it shows you, they were like in tears, weeping. Also, I learned from Surah Yusuf that people can change their skin very quickly. People can turn their faces and their colors so often. It's amazing how people can treat you one way, and in no time, they be completely different. They will completely show another face, another attitude. Listen to them saying to their father, أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. Just send him with us tomorrow so he can have a good time, fun, and we'll take care of him. قالوا يا أبانا منع منا الكيل فأرسل معنا أخانا نكتل وإنا له لحافظون. Send with us tomorrow our brother Binyamin. The first one was Yusuf. Now Binyamin. Send him with us tomorrow so we can go to the king and we get more, food. So how do you talk about the brother in a very loving words and warm way? Just look at the next verses where this happened to Binyamin and he was held by the guards of the palace in Yusuf's palace because they found the seal of the king in his plate and basically was accused. Look at how they talked about the same brother that they were saying, our brother send him akhana. Look at what they said to their father. فَقَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا إِنَّ ابْنَكَ They said, إِنَّ ابْنَكَ سَرَقَ Your son is a thief. He's not anymore our brother. See how they changed completely what I do. Your son is a thief. People are amazing. We are so good. With the moment we have a disagreement, I became the evil person. I became the mubtadi, I became the dar, I became the kafir, I became this, I became that. Partners, all our lives together. Partner, we have business together. We grow up together. Our wealth grow together. We came so young to this country and we're all these years working together. Just because of a disagreement, you immediately switch. I became the deceiver, I became this, I became that. It's amazing how people can flip so fast like that. But you know what? I'm not surprised to see those people because I've seen them in Surah Yusuf. I learned from that story that there are so many people, they hate us because of the good quality that we have. Usually don't like someone because of the bad quality that person has. But there's a lot of people actually hate you because of the good things that you have. So don't be offended when you see people going against you because they just hate the good thing that you have, that you possess. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us how many favor that He has given Yusuf alayhi salam. وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِن تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ وَعَلَى آلِ يَعْقُوبَ كَمَا أَتَمَّهَا عَلَى أَبَوَيْكَ مِن قَبْلُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your Lord, shows you and teach you the interpretation of narratives and narrations and dreams and complete His favor upon you. That what made them so jealous of Yusuf alayhi salam. I learned also that not every time we will be able to protect those who we love the most. No matter what you do. No matter what you do, you can't protect those who you love. And I realized that the best protector is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, you do your best. But you need to know that no matter what you do, you will not be able to protect them all the time. Yusuf's father was so protective of his son to the extent that he would not let his son go for a picnic outside the house. So protective of him, but didn't help. قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به. I'll feel so sad just to take him away from me. I can't see him around me. That will make me so sad. See how attached he is to his son. بس تذهبوا به يحزنني وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون. And I'm afraid that the wolf will eat him. I mean, come on. What's the percentage? Logically, what's the percentage for the wolf to eat a child? It's not a very big percentage. But that's remind me of so many parents. They can think of the most worst scenario ever can happen in the world to their sons and their daughters, and they just make your life so complicated because of that probability. We take risk every day. You know, driving the car just even if you don't go to Clear Lake. Even if you're here just on Highway 6, there's a chance and risk you're taking by driving your car, by walking. Everything in life has a risk in it. So I want you to know, no matter how you try to protect, in the end of the day, nothing can really, whatever Allah decreed upon the person will happen. You do your best, but you have to learn that the best protector is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, I learned that sometimes the stab comes from where you don't expect. He was worried about the wolf, but the stab didn't come from the wolf. It came from his own sons. The stab sometimes comes from the back. That hurts. That hurts. Sometimes the one that you will take the bullet for, he's the one who will be holding the gun. That hurts. وظلم ذوي القربى أشد مضاضة علي من وقع الحسام المهند. What hurts the most, when the closest people to you betray you. When the closest people to you stab you in your back. And also, I learned that not all the good things that happen to you or you have, or the blessings that you have, you don't need to tell everybody about it. Even sometimes the closest people to you. Because there's some people, their eyes are so narrow. Their heart is so tight. They can't accept to see other people better than them. It is so sad that there's people, but that's how it is. That's why Yaqub told his son Yusuf, يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك حتى الرؤيا يحسدوا عليها. أعوذ بالله. He said, don't tell your brothers about this dream. Even dream that they can envy you over it. That's how life is. Also, I learned that so many times the people that hate you the most, they want the worst for you. They come across as the advisors and the one who care for you and the free friends. But in reality, they are not. They're just deceiving you, rolling you. And we learned that from the very early stages of humans with a shaitan. هل أدلكم على شجرة الخلد. When he told our father Adam alayhi salam, the Satan told him, the shaitan told him, I will tell you about a tree. If you eat from it, you will be forever like angels. Forever worshipping Allah. I know he didn't tell Adam, hey, go eat from this tree, because who cares what Allah said? No. He didn't tell him that. He said, if you eat from this tree, you will be forever like angels, worshipping Allah forever. Adam thought this may be a good thing. He just deceived. وَقَاسَمَهُمَا إِنِّي لَكُمَا لَمِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. He swore by Allah to Adam and Eve that I swear by Allah, I am a sincere advisor to you. Be careful. Not everybody give you advice. It means that it is the right advice or really has the best interest in his mind. إِنَّ لَهُ لَنَاصِحُونَ وَإِنَّ لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. Al-Quran keep telling us how they tell the Father, we are protectors, we are advisors, we will take care of him. Also, I learned that even evil people are levels. الشر دركات كما أن أهل الخير درجات أهل الشر دركات. Even your enemies are not the same. قال قائل منهم لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب يلتقطه بعض السيارة إن كنتم فاعلين. One of them said, don't kill him, just throw him in the well. So it's not the one like the worst. There's, and that's very interesting for us to know. Sometimes even your enemy, you need to look for the one who have the least evil, the least animosity. And not a person that, you can benefit from. They're not the same. I also learned, and this is interesting, that sometimes when I tell some people about the thing that I am afraid of the most, or I am ashamed of the most, or the thing that it means something very special, they use this against me. Like so many times, and let me just establish where this came from. When Yusuf's father told Yaqub, what did he tell him? What is the fear of Yaqub? أَخَافُ أَن يَأْكُلَهُ الذِّئْبُ. I'm worried that the wolf will eat him. Guess what? They use his fear against him. In the same concept, in life, sometimes people use your fear against you. And sometimes people use the thing that you're ashamed of against you. How many times you heard or you seen a wife, she's so naive, she's so innocent, told her husband about a stupid thing maybe she did in the past, before marriage, or before this or that. And the husband always remind her, you remember what you used to be? And you use this against her all her life. Or you in a moment of, of purity, and you think, khalas, like, I have to be transparent and tell everything. And you tell about one of your adventures. Then it will be held against you for the rest of your life. Sometimes you have to be careful. Because people use what you fear the most, use your weakness against you. So you should be careful who you tell people about your weakness. I also learned that there is no perfect crime. Surah Yusuf taught me there is no such thing as called perfect crime. Every criminal have to leave a trace behind him or her, lead to the criminal. You know what? They came with the blood. They came with the shirt. They made sure that Yusuf has no way to return. But guess what? The Mufassirin, the interpreter of the Quran, said that they forgot to make one important thing. You know what? The shirt was as good as new. How come a wolf will come and drag him and not even a cut? The shirt is not torn. You see? There's no perfect crime. And it's interesting. The wife of Al-Aziz did the same thing. She did a crime against Yusuf. She accused him of trying to rape her. But she forgot if he did, where is the shirt tear, from the front or from the back? She forgot that she tear his shirt from the back. There's no perfect crime. So if you ever plan to do a crime, don't. Just in case. Also, I learned from this, as we talk about the shirt, that there is no superstitious. The shirt is a basic thing in the Surah Yusuf. Have you noticed? The shirt was brought to the father of Yusuf as a sign of the losses and the death of his son. The same thing, the shirt was the proof of evidence, or the evidence for the innocence of what? Of Yusuf alayhi salam. The shirt was the thing that brought the sight of Yaqub's back to him and gave him the glad tidings of the returning of Yusuf alayhi salam. Allah used the same thing, the same basically material, which is the shirt, and sometimes was to carry a bad news, a good news, showing you're innocent, showing that, to teach a lesson that there is no superstitions in things. Like people have this weird, if he see an owl or he sees a number, here in America we have that number, 13? In China, since you guys living near Chinatown, yes, you guys have 3 Chinatown around you here. In China, what number that they're superstitious? 4. It's amazing. When I went to Malaysia, okay, there's no floor that's called number 4, where I was staying, the hotel. And they are taking it to the next level. In America, only 13. Over there, 4, 14, 24, 34, no, 40. Anything has 4? No. It's like another level. Because that hotel I was staying in is like mainly Chinese. So here you see, there's no superstition. Some people have khalam. He said, that's bad luck for me. I don't want to see this car. I don't want to see this, clothes. But there's nothing like that in Islam. The good and the bad in the way you use things, not the thing itself. Also, I learned from Surah Yusuf, or the story of Yusuf salam, that this dunya really worth nothing. Wallahi akhwan, it's amazing for me. It's amazing when I read this verse. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. They sold Yusuf for few coins and they did not have any appreciation for him. He is so insignificant. Even though he's a beauty and all this, nothing. He worth nothing in their eyes. That's why they sold him for any price. That's Yusuf. One day he became the king of Egypt. He became in charge of the treasures of Egypt. But one day he was a slave sold for very cheap price. That's how life. One day you are so up high, and one day you are on the bottom. As we say, one day you are the bird, and one day you are the statue. And I hope you figure that out. So, sometimes that's how life. You change basically positions. So be careful. Don't think because you are in the bottom, you're going to stay there all your life. One day you will be up, and one day you will be down. This dunya, subhanAllah, goes in an amazing cycle. One of the beautiful things about Surah Yusuf, it shows you the qadr of Allah SWT, how Allah SWT make things go and meet the ultimate hikmah, wisdom of Allah. I was reading, since talking about Chinese, I was reading about a Chinese guy who's a multi-billionaire guy, died. And after his death, recently after this, like a few weeks, his wife married his driver. And his driver became, obviously, multi-billionaire. What caught my attention about the story is the interview. In the interview, the interviewer told him, what was your feeling? You'll be just a few weeks ago, you were just a driver in the company. Now you are the CEO of the whole company. Of this, basically, industrial, it's a giant industrial there. He said something very interesting. He said, all these years, I always thought that my boss worked so hard to get money and make wealth for himself. What I didn't know, that he was working all these years for me. All these years I thought I'm working for him. But I realize now that all these years he could work actually for me. Not I got all his wealth, I got his wife too. It's amazing how things goes around. So all what you need to do to have that trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, Surah Yusuf, there's a one concept keep coming again and again, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِن تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. Allah teach you. آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. We have given him wisdom and knowledge. What I want to say, that you might learn things in schools and and studying books and stuff, but what really open your heart for the true knowledge, what make that knowledge beneficial to you is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. Have taqwa of Allah and Allah will teach you. Will teach you what is beneficial. It's not about how smart you are. It's all about how pure heart you have. It's not about your IQ as much as it's about how your faith and your iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, that's why he was so admitted. He always admit his Lord's favor upon him. رَبِّ قَدْ آتَيْتَنِي مِنَ الْمُلْكِ وَعَلَّمْتَنِي مِن تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ فَاطِرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أنت وليي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. He's saying, my Lord, you have given me something basically of sovereignty and taught me of the interpretation of dreams, creator of the heavens and earth. You are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. And also wali, it means not only protector. Protector, you are my wali, and you are my supporter, the one that will aid and help and love, because al-wilaya also means love. Cause me to die a Muslim and join me with the righteous. Allahumma ameen. I also learned that noble people don't betray. Noble people don't take advantage of situation. Don't take advantage of people. الحر لا يقابل الإساءة إلا بالعفو والغفران بل بالإحسان. النبيل يقولون النبيل لا يبصق أبدا في بئر شرب منه. Noble people, they will never ever take advantage of other people's situation. Noble people, he will always be willing to take the higher ground. See, وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك. Everything was set for him to do the haram with this woman. And everything can think of. And not only did she lock the door, she locked them so carefully. غلقت التشديد للتأكيد. She locked every door very well. There is no chance he will be exposed. And guess what? He's nobody. I don't mean by that. He was just a slave. You know, when you have a status, you always worry about exposure. Anybody who is very famous and known, he's always worried about being caught in camera, being exposed. Yeah, but if you nobody. That's why stranger and people when they travel, they like to play around because nobody knows who they are. They are just no one. Okay? And that's how he is, nobody. Even if he was caught, what's going to happen to him? He's no one. But still, he's a noble man. He said, إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ. The one who have brought me to this house and took good care of me and nurturing me. My master in this house, I'm not going to betray him with his wife. That's a noble gentleman. Take advantage of the situation. Also, to learn that the real meaning of nobility, the real meaning of being worthy of praise, when you are capable of doing something wrong, then you said no. That's what real, basically, the real nobility is. And there's the real praises. كما قال الشاعر قديما قال قبيلة لا يقدرون بذمة ما هذا ذمهم. He said those قبيلة, they don't abuse anyone. This was not a praise, that was actually criticism. It's a jahili, ignorant days poetry. Why? He said they are so weak to abuse anyone. He said this is nobody. No, this tribe is nothing. Because they are so weak. They can't even abuse anyone or steal from anyone. But why? Because they understand when you have the power to do something and you don't, that's what real, trust is. When you have access to wealth and you said no. Nobody going to see you, but you said no, khaf Allah. You have access to the haram, you said no, I can't, this is haram. I can do the adultery, but I don't. I can open this, I can date, I can do, but I can't do that. I can hurt you, but I will not. Because that's not allowed. Also, that shows you that the real protection comes from Allah. Wallahi, don't think. That's why it is so sad for me when I see some parents teach their kids that they don't do this because al-usul, al-adat, al-taqalid. You don't do this because into ibn nas. They said you don't do that because you're from this family, from this traditions, with this culture. We don't do this. They never connect their kids to Allah. You know what? Your culture is not going to protect your son or daughter. Your lineage, your tribe, your whatever background that you have, that's not what's going to make him or her a good person. What's going to make them always do the right thing when they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over them and watching them to connect them to Allah. That's why, look at Yusuf alayhi salam. What did he say? He said, Rabbi, my Lord, السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن أصب إليهن وأكن من الجاهلين. If you don't, Ya Allah, protect me from their plotting, I might answer their call. That's فاستعصم. He held into the rope of Allah. Ma'ad Allah, I seek refuge with you, Allah, from what they asking me to do. That's how we should learn, that we always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we do that, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Allahu Akbar. So his Lord responded to him and averted from him their plan. Indeed, he is the hearing and the knowing. Also, I know that no one can force me to do something I don't want to do. No matter what it is. Don't please tell me, oh, my circumstances, my... You know what? Look at him. A young man, a stranger, a woman approaching. And a woman is what? It's not like an ugly woman, like, you know. No, a beautiful woman. And not just a beautiful woman. A married woman. Okay? And not only that, a powerful woman can protect him or harm him. He said no. Not only that she's the one who starts and initiate the offer. And in secret. There is every circumstance you can think of is there. But he said no. Also, I learned that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to expose something, He will. No matter how much people try to hide it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَالَ الْمَلِكُ ائْتُونِي بِهِ فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ الرَّسُولُ قَالَ ارْجِعْ إِلَى رَبِّكَ فَاسْأَلْهُ مَا بَالُ النِّسْوَةِ اللَّاتِي قَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيَهُنَّ إِنَّ رَبِّي بِكَيْدِهِنَّ عَلِيمٌ. When they told Yusuf, okay, get out of jail, he said, no, before I leave, I want to know what those women accused me with, true or not. When I was a bad person, when I betrayed my master, did I do something wrong or not? Then the king brought the woman, he said, قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ إِذْ رَاوَدتُّنَّ يُوسُفَ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. He said, the king asked the woman, what was your condition when you sought to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam? They said, perfect is Allah. قُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا عَلِمْنَا عَلَيْهِ مِنْ سُوءٍ. Allahu Akbar. We know about him no evil. And the wife of Al-Aziz, the king, said, now the truth has become evident, clear. All these years she tried to cover it. All these years his innocence was not known. But Allah brought it up. And I promise you, if you suffer from your reputation being ruined, somebody claims something that's not true about you, a lie was made about you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the truth one day and will show the truth about you. Thank you, Yusuf. I learned that there are so many innocent people in jail. Not everybody in jail is a criminal. Not all people in jail and convicted felons, it means that they really committed a crime. That's not true. كما يقال ايش يقولون ياما في السجن ايش مظالم. There's so many people in jail who don't deserve to be there. I learned that the sweetness of Iman is much better than the sweetness of the haram. The spacious that you have in your soul, that your soul will have by doing the right thing is much better than the spacious that the haram will provide for you. That's why he said, السجن أحب إلي. I prefer jail over the palace. That palace where do you want me to do the haram? With that palace where I have to deal with the fitna. And that shows you also another lesson, that you run away from the fitna even if you lose. But to protect your deen is more important than protect your dunya. I learned from Yusuf alayhi salam that you can give da'wah in any position, in anywhere, in any place. In jail, he took advantage of the situation when they come to ask him about the dream, and guess what? He started calling them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يا صاحبي السجن أأرباب متفرقون خير أم الله الواحد القهار. Which one is better, my companions in prison? Are separate lords better, or Allah, the one, the prevailing? ما تعبدون من دونه. And the verses talk about how he gave them da'wah and asked them to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ ذَلِكَ الدِّينُ الْقَيِّمُ. So forth. Also, that's why you should take it. I met a brother in New York. He's a taxi driver. Okay? He told me, Shaykh, you see this? And this is the old days when they have a tape, cassette, he put in his car. Okay? He said, that tape, it's the Quran. I forgot who was the reciter right now. He said, because of this tape, I had 18 people accepted Islam. Every time they ride on my taxi, I just play. What's this? It's Quran. What's Quran? The conversation goes. I met another guy in Colorado. He showed me a picture of Al-Kaaba. He said, I have this picture. He saw it in a book. And he said, Shaykh, I have the same picture behind my desk in my office. And every time somebody comes to my office, he said, what's this? I said, this is Kaaba. What's the Kaaba? And I talked to him about Islam. And he said, Allah knows how many people, alhamdulillah, it became an opportunity for them to accept Islam. There's no a particular place or time only for da'wah. You can be a walking da'i through your actions, through your whole life. Also, it's amazing how Yusuf listened to these verses. In jail, listen to what the description. إِنَّا نَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. When he was on the chair of the throne in Egypt and powerful and in charge and so forth. قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا فخذ أحدنا مكانه إنا نراك من المحسنين. عجيب. You are among the muhsinin. When he was in jail and when he was in charge in the palace. When he was poor, when he was rich. When he was powerful, when he was powerless. المعدن الأصيل لا تغيره الظروف. If you have a good character, you're made of something value, no matter how rich or poor, famous or unknown, public or in secret, family or enemies or friends, you stay the same. That's why aspire to be authentic. Because authenticity is such a good quality. Thank you, Yusuf. I learned that envy is the reason behind so many evils in the world. Envy was the reason behind Shaitan to do what he did with Adam. From the beginning, envy is the first sin that was committed in the heaven. And envy was the first sin committed on the earth when the son of Adam, one of them, basically have envied what? His brother. And he killed him. Somebody said, Shaykh, if he killed his brother, we are all the son of that killer. So we all carry that genes. كلنا عيال هالقاتل هذا. Are we all the son of this killer? That's not true. Adam alayhi salam had so many sons, not only two. Some of the narration said that he's more than 100 sons. Okay? And daughters. So it's not true that there's only two. But the story came only in two of them. Just in case, because somebody asked me this question, I never thought about it before. He said, Shaykh, يعني كل الآدميين هذول من هالمجرم هذا. I said, ما شاء الله. So, anyway, quickly so we wrap it up. Also, I learned something interesting in this story. that sometimes your problem is not the lack of resources. And this is very good for people in business. The problem is not the resources. Sometimes the problem is how to manage the resources. You know? That's why Yusuf talked to them about there is not much resources in 7 years. But what he did, he taught them how to manage the resources carefully in the first 7 years, so the next 7 he will be able to survive. Sometimes you need to know how to manage well. You know? It's interesting that to know, for example, in Abyssinia, in Ethiopia, this country, in it, 54 million cows. In Sudan, 42 million cows. But both countries are suffering. Ethiopia is growing, the economy is booming big time these days. But relatively, they're not very good economically. While Holland, Dutch, they have 11 million cows. And they are the mother milk of the whole world. يعني ما خلى واحد ما أطعموها الحليب. They 11 million comparing to 50 and 40 million. It's about managing the resources. It's about how to manage the resources. And there's so many examples like this in business world. So maybe that's a lesson that you learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Also, I learned that this is also something important. The same part of the story where he planned perfectly. You save in the 7 years, and the next 7 years you will do. Planning is very important. You know, a goal without a plan is just a wish. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you don't have a clear plan what you want to be, and you know what you're going to do, you basically, because I can tell you from now, if you don't have a plan and you know what road you're going to take, you're never going to achieve what you want. I know many people in life, you know how they achieve their goals? When they arrive at it. I'll say that again, that's messed up. If you find your goal, the time you arrive at your goal, that's a messed up. You know your goal after you arrive. That means you have no goal. You just ماشي كده مع التيار. basically carry. And wherever I landed, that became my goal. You know, it's like a guy who like doing competition of shooting, and he called the goal after he shoot. Whatever he knocked, it became like, yeah. Anyway, also, life will always stay the same. Struggle between falsehood and truth. Bad and good. You know, only names change. Soldiers change. The struggle with purity and modesty with Zulaykha in the palace, with his brothers' love and hate and envy, will be the same. So don't be frustrated. Expect that in life. Also, sometimes Allah chooses for you a weapon that you never thought of. And Allah bring you victory from a way that you never expected. You know how Yusuf came out of jail. Not as soldiers came and they break the jail or revolutions no, it's a dream came in the night to that king's wisely. All of Allah's soldiers, a dream, have sent him free, Yusuf alayhi salam. Also, Yusuf asked for that position, be in charge of wealth and distribute the wealth of Egypt. Because being in charge is not an honoring as much as, it's not about honoring you, it's about responsibility more than anything else. هي تكليف لا تشريف. It's a responsibility you will be asked about. Also, I learned from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam that no matter how rich, how powerful, how high you go, you always don't forget about the akhirah. Forget about what is real purpose for you in this life. وَلَأَجْرُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Allah said, and the reward of the hereafter is better for those who believed and we're fearing Allah. Also, I learned something very interesting. One of my reflections on this verse, or this surah, that dunya fiha furas. There's chances in this life. Make sure when you see one, you grab it. Make sure that you learn how to do that, to grab the chances. Okay, so chances basically in this dunya. That's why when the chance came to Yusuf, when the king said, bring him near to me. Yeah, the king wanted him to be in the hashia, basically in the court. But that's a chance. What did he say? No, I wanted just to entertain you and to interpret your dream. Put me in charge of the wealth of Egypt. The minister basically of trade or treasury. The treasury of the country. Put me in charge of it. So chance, take advantage of it. That's why if you ever see chance in front of you, grab it. We have this habit of let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Then you end up basically loser in the end. That's basically you criticize your luck. You know what? No. Take advantage of the chances that come to you. I give you something personal. I travel a lot. And every time I travel, I take advantage of my travel to do something fun. I just like to learn new things or get to know about new cultures and habits and sports. And I dive, for example. I go diving a lot. So anytime I was in Jeddah, had a lecture last week. And you know what? I called a friend in Jeddah. I said, hey, I'm going to go diving tomorrow. Just take advantage. I'm just there for one day. You know, I was in Australia. You know what? I would like to see how the rainforest is. I never been to a rainforest before. You know, like every time you go to some place, take advantage of doing something maybe good for you or fun or what depends. But just make sure that you take advantage of chances that come to you. Also, that shows me that sometimes you need to learn how to talk to Allah more often. أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. Ya Allah, I relate to you. Not I complain about you. Complain about myself, my weakness. It's a conversation that you have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إني أعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. I also learned from the story of Yusuf that your dua will be answered even if it is long after your dua. Do you know between the dua of Yusuf that Allah bring, the dua of Yaqub that Allah bring Yusuf back to him, and the return of Yusuf, how many years? More than 40 years. He never gave up in dua. Don't ever give up in dua. Especially for something like this. 40 years he'd been making dua. And what's amazed me, what's really struck me the most, that when his other son Binyamin was kept in the palace, in the king's palace, and was basically arrested, and they told him about that, what he said. What did he say? قال عسى الله أن يأتيني بهم جميعا. Allahu Akbar. He just lost the second son and he did not break his spirit. He said, Allah will bring both of them. Ya Allah. You think his spirit broken? His basically hope disappeared or his faith shaken? No. He said Allah will bring both of them. Don't worry. It's amazing how this is important lessons for us to walk away tonight with. Also, sometimes you need to let things go. فأسرها يوسف في نفسه ولم يبدها له. Yusuf heard what they said when they said, oh, his brother was a thief too. He didn't make a comment. He let it go. And I'll tell you something. Many times, when you let things go, you win so many things. More than the thing that you want to fight over. Learn. 9 أعشار التعامل في التغافل. يقول بعض السلف حتى قال بعضهم خاصة في العلاقات الأسرية. Family member. You need to learn things go. Don't pick on everybody. لا تأخذن بعثرة كل قوم ولكن قل هلم إلى الطريق. إن تأخذ بعثرتهم يقل وتبقى وحدك في الطريق. يقول الشافعي رحمه الله. Also, I want you to know, whoever lie once can lie again. They lie about Yusuf that he was eaten by the wolf, and they lie about his brother that he's a thief, and his Yusuf that he's a thief. I want you to know that evil eye is true. Taking protections from the evil eye of people is something that I learned from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. That's what he said to his son, don't all come from the same door. You know, this is funny. It's sad. اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخل لكم وجه أبيكم. إيش؟ What's next? وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. كيف تنال الطهارة بالدناسة؟ They said, kill him, get rid of him, and you will have your father for yourself, and after that, we will become righteous. After that, we will become salih, righteous, good people. The shaitan, he give you that false, hope of later on I will become religious. I'm still young, I will do all the bad things, and later on I will be Muslim, a good Muslim. Later on I will start praying. Later on I will put the hijab. Later on I will be honest. Inshallah, when, just let this deal finish, and after that I will give a lot of sadaqah and a lot of zakah. That's a shaitan trick to the Yusuf brother. Don't ever be like that. Don't do the wrong thing and say, later inshallah I will be among the salihin. No. The greatest things you can do is to be able to forgive. He forgave them. قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم. الله أكبر. Don't worry. He said, no blame will be there for you from me. No blame after all what they did to him. Can you imagine? I just want you to imagine that moment of Yusuf, young boy, 6 years old, whatever, thrown in a dark well, dry well in the middle of the desert. Just think about what he was thinking that night. Taking a slave and sold as a slave. Think about that. And he said, no blame on you today. What a level of forgiveness. اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. هذا أخوه صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, you all free to go. And Imam Ahmad was asked, would you become an imam, a leadership position, then you will be tested, or you will be tested first, then the test will lead you to be a leader. قال هل الإنسان يمكن ثم يبتلى أم يبتلى ثم يمكن؟ قال الإمام أحمد وجعلنا منهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا لما صبروا فيبتلى ثم يمكن. You will be tested, then you will reach the leadership position. He was tested, then he became a prophet. Then he became that great prophet and messenger that we are familiar with. Finally, I learned that it's so important also to be fair with your children. Which is ironic, I got a message here, but it's actually my point number 42. Believe it or not, we have taken 42 lessons so far. This is my number 42. He said, العدل بين الأبناء مطلب وأن الآباء أحيانا يغيرون صدور أولادهم على إخوانهم. Sometimes the way you treat your children, you make your children jealous of each other. Don't show favor. In Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when a man came to him and he said, I gave this to my son, he said, did he give you all your sons? He said, no. He said, I will not witness the zur, a falsehood. You give them all equally. I'm not accusing anyone about anything like that or in this way that Yaqub was bad or that's not my point. But my point is that they have seen how much he loves Yusuf and Binyamin, and that would trigger the jealousy. Human beings are human beings. So make sure that you treat your sons and your daughter equally. And I'm saying this because sometimes we are doing this a lot to our daughters. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من رزقه الله من هؤلاء البنات فأحسن إليهن وعالاهن ورحمهن ولم يفضل ولده عليهن. هذه رواية في أبي داود. And he did not favor his son over his daughter. Sometimes we do that without realizing. The son got the car, but the girl doesn't. The son got the money, got $100 and she got $10. You know, he get this and she don't get that. Get the good school, but she doesn't get the school. You favor your son over her. That's wrong. لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا. You don't know which one will benefit you the most. So make sure that you don't treat your children in a way that make them jealous and hate one another. Make sure that you show your love. You might have a favorite son, you might have a favorite daughter, but this is between you and in your heart. Keep it, don't show it in front of them. Love them all and appreciate them all. May Allah SWT to protect our children. And apologize for taking too much of your time tonight, but just such a good crowd can keep me going. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.